Today, now that we have the NFL draft in the rearview mirror and free agency, we're just kind of in the lull of training camp. Not much to talk about for a little bit. So, we are going to reflect back on the past NFL draft that just happened last month and talk about the 10 best value picks that I saw, in my opinion, this year in the NFL draft. Now, it's all going to be speculation. I could be completely wrong here. Some of these guys might be complete NFL busts. Some might be exceeding superstars. I don't know. I can't predict the future, but we're going to have some fun with it either way. I want you to leave down your list in the comments and let me know where I went wrong. But let's start it off. Number 10. And the 10th best value in the NFL draft, I think, was Roman Wilson at 84th overall in the third round to the Pittsburgh Steelers. There was a lot of wide receivers that went late in the first round, early in the second round, and some names slipped for a little bit, and including Roman Wilson. There's going to be another receiver on this list, so don't let me spoil too much for you. You just wait for him. But Roman Wilson is a great pass catcher. He helped out Michigan when they needed to. Of course, that was a run-first offense under Jim Harbaugh. But we know J.J. McCarthy could find Roman Wilson and clutch time, and he made it work. He made it work. Roman Wilson was a great receiver there for multiple years. He's got the tools that they need. It really kind of feels like a Chase Claypool pick for a few years ago for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 9, I put Brock Bowers here at 13th from the Las Vegas Raiders. He was just one of the best players in the entire NFL draft. And of course, tight ends don't typically get picked up high, but still, at 13, I think that's a good move for the silver and black. You know, there's not much to talk about. We know Brock Bowers is one of the most explosive players in college football over the past couple of years. Was the most successful collegiate tight end ever if you look at strictly accolades, including national champions. Under Kirby Smart, he thrived. So I think this is a great pickup. It's going to be a nice weapon for either Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew, you know, and whatever happens in the future for the silver and black. Great pickup at 13. Number 8, I have a offensive lineman, Christian Haynes, coming out here, who was drafted in the third round, 81st overall. Christian Haynes, I thought, could have gone a little bit higher, especially over the likes of a couple of other guys. I can't even remember their names right now that was drafted in the early in the third round by the Arizona Cardinals. The Dallas Cowboys took some. You know, I think Christian Haynes was a really good prospect coming out. Again, offensive line is always a toss-up. You don't know who's going to contribute well, so I think it was a great value for the Seattle Seahawks at 81st overall in the third round. Moving up to number 7, we're going back up to the early second round where the Eagles take Cooper DeJean. And I love Cooper DeJean. I thought he could have been a first-round pick, especially to the Green Bay Packers. I think would have fit really nicely, where they decided to go an offensive lineman who they probably could have got with their second-round pick. He was really high. He was probably one of my least valued picks. If I do a video on that, expect him to be in there. But Cooper DeJean, the Philadelphia Eagles got 2 cornerbacks, and I really like Cooper DeJean here. Though I was thinking about picking Kool-Aid McKinstry, who went 1 pick after Cooper, because Kool-Aid was a great corner as well. I went with Cooper DeJean because of his versatility. Because the Eagles now have Darius Slay, Quinion Mitchell, who they picked in the first round, and now Cooper DeJean. So they could even move him back to safety to team up with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He can play punt return, kick return. He's just a great value. He's going to be a Swiss Army knife for them, even though they already have Brenton Covey, who fills a lot of those roles really well as well. So take it as you will, but I think Cooper DeJean was easily a top 25 pick, but he fell to 40 here in this draft. So take it as you will, but I like this pick at number 7. Number 6, I can't even pronounce the last name. It is Kingsley from BYU going to the Kansas City Chiefs with the 63rd overall pick. That is one of the last picks in the second round. And I think Patrick Mahomes got a great offensive lineman, boosting those trenches, especially after the loss of Orlando Brown just a year ago. I think this is a huge pickup. He's going to fill that role really well. They still have Creed Humphrey. They still have a lot of Joe Thuney. I mean, this line is going to be solid, so he's got great guys to learn from. I thought Kingsley could have gone, again, to that Packers pick or even to the Kansas City Chiefs with their first pick where they took Xavier Worthy. But you know, I think it's a great selection. I think it's a huge blessing to the Kansas City Chiefs that he fell all the way down to the last pick. Well, the second to last pick in the second round. Great pickup for them. Moving to the top 5, let me know who you think. Put down your guesses down below right now. Before I move into number 5, Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. We're always talking football around here. I got some great Madden content as well. You got to check it out. It's a lot of fun. But moving into our top 5, Spencer Rattler is going to be the guy. You know, Spencer Rattler, I don't even know if he's going to be a successful NFL quarterback. I really don't think he will be, given the situation that he's in. But a fifth-round guy. A fifth-round guy. He's got the arm talent of number 1. The IQ of, you know, a third, fourth, fifth rounder. Okay? And again, we heard those rumors that the documentary series from Netflix, QB1, really hurt his reputation. A lot of NFL teams couldn't see him maturing. But come on, fellas. That was years ago. That was, what, 4 or 5 years ago? I was still in high school. I remember that. So, yeah, had to be 4 or 5 years ago. So Spencer Rattler, he was a great player. He's got all the arm talent. He lost the starting job to Caleb Williams at Oklahoma, eventually transferred to South Carolina, where I got to admit, didn't watch a ton of him. But he still made big throws. He's got the best arm probably in the entire draft. And to get him in the 5th round, that's something special. I thought the Raiders definitely should have snagged him in the 4th round. But, hey, good pickup for the New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr is not my favorite quarterback in this NFL either. His footwork is just makes me sick. He has all the tools to be super, super good. And he just hasn't panned out quite yet. We haven't seen the Derek Carr that we saw a few years ago. So hopefully Derek Carr figures it out. But if not, Spencer Rattler might be a good option to give a try, especially with all that cap issue going on in New Orleans right now. At number 4, we're going back up to the 1st round. Edge rusher Jared Verse at 19 to the Los Angeles Rams. I think this is great. Of course, their defense took a huge blow, losing Aaron Donald in retirement this season. Their defense just needed a boost on the defensive line, especially. Jared Verse, I think in any other draft, goes top 10 easily, okay? And so him at 19, I think, is a great value pickup, considering that he was only the 3rd defensive player picked. Yeah, Jared Verse, I think in a lot of drafts goes top 5, top 10. Not in this year, obviously. It was a very stacked draft, I believe. But Jared Verse at 19 is going to do a lot of good things in Los Angeles. Number 3, sticking on to the defensive side of the ball, defensive tackle Johnny Newton for the Washington Commanders. They were picking him at 36 in the 2nd round. And I think that's a great move. That's a great move. There were some defensive tackles that were taken. I thought Johnny Newton should have been the 2nd defensive tackle taken, just behind Byron Murphy. Well, the Cardinals went Darius Robinson, who technically is an edge in college, but they're probably moving him to the defensive tackle. Rook Aurora for the Atlanta Falcons went before him. I think Devondre Sweat went before. So I think those are some crazy moves. Johnny Newton has all the talent in the world. He's got the pro size. I think he's going to do really good things. So I think that's a really, really good pickup. Because again, this guy probably should have been a top 25 pick. Falls to 36. Good move for the Washington Commanders, who had a sneaky good draft. Number 2, I got a guy who slipped. Again, it could have been a 1st rounder. Slipped well down there, well into the 2nd round. And that is Adonai Mitchell to the Indianapolis Colts at 52. I think it's a great pickup. Chris Ballard has had a lot of good things about him. You know, I think they're really excited to have Adonai Mitchell in the building. And they should be. I mean, he's one of the best jump ball receivers. He's got size, strength, speed. You know, he played really well with Quinn Ewers. I thought he definitely should have been a 1st round guy. I would have picked him over Ricky Pearsall, over Xavier Legette, over Keon Coleman. And, you know, I think those were, and I love those guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to discredit any of them. I just thought Adonai Mitchell was that kind of guy. Obviously, it's some character issues that they're talking about. But again, they're just young kids. I think they can grow out of that. Look at Tyrann Mathieu, of all people. All right, got kicked out of college and then became an NFL superstar. Okay, before we get into number 1, let's still talk about why you still haven't subscribed to Rise T18. No, I'm just kidding. Just go do it, okay? Number 1, Dallas Turner at 17 to the Minnesota Vikings. I liked this pickup a lot for the Minnesota Vikings. They traded up to go get him from 25, I believe. Maybe 27. I can't remember. But either way, great pickup. Great move up. Dallas Turner, I think there's some drafts in recent history where Dallas Turner goes number 1 overall. He was that good. He was that good. But again, he was the 2nd defensive player taken, only behind Letu Latu, which I like Dallas Turner just a little bit more. I think he's the best edge rusher in the draft. Trayvon Walker went number 1. Okay, I think Dallas Turner was that kind of guy coming out of college. I think he could have been number 1 in that draft. But you put him in this draft, of course, he falls all the way down to 17, which isn't a bad thing because, that Minnesota Vikings defense could be really nice. And I think Dallas Turner is going to fit in really well. He's going to take Danielle Hunter's spot, which, he averaged 16, or he had 16 and a half sacks last season. Dallas Turner, I'm not saying it's going to go get 16 and a half, but he could get 10. Easy as a rookie. Easy. All right, so I really like this move. Again, I think he could have been number 1 overall in a lot of drafts. Obviously not this one, but I still think he should have gone higher in this draft. Maybe, top 6, 7. Marvin Harrison, I think, was a good pickup. He could have gone there, but obviously the Chargers are good with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. I don't know. I really like Dallas Turner a lot, so seeing him fall to 17 kind of hurt my soul. And seeing the Vikings trade up to go get him, I think that was just a great move, great value. This kid's a stud. He can be one of the best edge rushers in the league in just a few years. But that is my top 10. You let me know, who do you have in your top 10 best value picks? Who else was underrated? Give me those thoughts in the comments. Again, don't forget to subscribe. We're always talking football, having great Madden content, but none of this is possible without you, so I appreciate you. Trying to get to 1,000 real quick, so help me out. But I appreciate you, fellas.